Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness!
I hope you filled in your character sheets because we are talking about Dungeons & Dragons. So Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game first published in 1974, and if you believe the moral panic of the 1980s, it's also a gateway to the occult. It's well known for the freedom it gives its players. Groups can make up their own adventures led by the Dungeon Master or DM, and players create characters from a wide variety of available archetypes. While you're on your adventure, you can attempt to do pretty much whatever you want, though success, of course, will depend on the roll of a dice. And whenever there's a lot of freedom in character creation in a game, I like to make self-inserts, so characters that are just like me. Unsurprisingly, I imagine my character having a similar personality to mine with similar ethics. Ideally, that means my characters would be gorging on fried tofu all the time, but it's tougher to know what to eat in a fantasy setting like Dungeons & Dragons. Luckily, there are a lot of good options. So according to the player's handbook, a character has to eat a pound of food a day to not incur penalties, which can include things like reduced speed or health and eventually death. There aren't any existing rules in the player's handbook on not eating meat or other animal products, and even if there were, you could ignore them if your group wanted to. You could even ignore the rule on having to eat food at all, which a lot of groups do. So why am I even talking about this? If your party does eat food in-game, it still might not even be necessary to go hunting or foraging. If you have a cleric or a paladin in your party, the spell Create Food and Water will create 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water, either on the ground or in containers. I assume most people prefer containers. The food created is described as bland but nourishing, and it goes bad in 24 hours, so like a protein shake I accidentally forgot about in the fridge. The game doesn't elaborate on what the created food actually is, so maybe put in a request with your spellcaster for your favorite edible yet tasteless treat. Is it vegan to eat bland meat created by magic? I'll let you decide. Players have also reported using Create Food and Water to escape sticky situations. Take this cleric who created 12,000 meringues to help steal a rare item. The resulting explosion of food practically filled the entire shop, forcing the shopkeeper to wade and swim through a ball pool of sticky, crunchy dessert.
That's a bottomless ball pit of death!
The plant growth spell can help you outrun pursuers by making thick brush that's hard to move through. And if you're using it to grow crops instead, using it over the course of 8 in-game hours will double your harvest for a year. Druids and rangers can cast the Good Berry spell, which creates up to 10 magical berries, this time conveniently in your hand instead of on the ground. One berry provides enough nourishment to sustain a creature for 1 day.
One small bite is enough to fill the stomach of a grown man.
If you're looking for a lore-related reason to be plant-based in-game, elves exist in Dungeons & Dragons, and you can play as one if you wish. In the Hero's Feast, the official D&D cookbook, it says elves place a strong value on life, so many of them are vegetarian or vegan. It says little that bleeds ends up on elven plates. So yeah, there's a lot of good options for vegan eating during a campaign if that is the way you want to play. That's really all I wanted to cover for now. I hope you enjoy your next adventure. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of content, and I will see you next time.